We know that you're kind, you're well-intentioned, and you're sincere. I want to be clear, this isn't meant to condescend or inspire jeer, but I fear you. I fear you because of what you tell me you see when you look at me, a Zionist colonial occupier throwing Palestinian olive trees to fires, creating laws of systematic oppression, but allow me a little digression to put our exaggerated transgressions aside and ask, why only my existence ever has to be justified? This is how I self-identify. Who are you to tell me otherwise? It's not like I'm saying it for ethnic pride. It's only to describe that we're not what you think, and under hostile threat when no other peoples would spend time to regret, all we do is reflect, and when we do, the pattern seems suspect, that all you see is me. Every BDS campus meeting only boycotts me. Every UN resolution is talking about me. Arab leaders around the world scream that they want to kill me, and none of you have any sympathy for me. Why is it just me that you see? Don't you see Pakistan's occupation of Balochistan? That occupation isn't benign, it's 4 times the size of Palestine. And these Muslims can't vote in regular elections, they're killed by the dozens during peaceful demonstrations. This isn't just trivia, right next door. Don't you see India? I know it's the poster child for democracy, but go to the valley and you'll find a sickening hypocrisy. In their occupation, almost 200 were killed last year. All their resistance fails, and their protesters' deaths are always marred by shady details. And I'm no tattletale, but in those occupations, the scale of those dead and jailed compared to Palestinians pales. But again, I'm not saying it to smear. I'm being sincere when I say I don't judge India over Kashmir, and I don't judge Pakistan for what they do to the Baloch. I don't judge Azerbaijan for its approach to Armenia's occupation of its land. The same thing goes for China's brutal oppression of Tibet and Russia's occupation of Abkhazia. In response to Turkey's recent genocide of Armenians in 2 current occupations, I don't post little swastika-laden tweets. I don't boycott Ethiopian products to crush their small businesses on the streets. I don't pass 95% of all UN resolutions exclusively about one place, especially when that one place is comprised of a race that was displaced and then faced contempt like no other case. And I'm sorry to say that's the least of it. Prominent Arab leaders that actually implement apartheids every day call for our Jewish genocide. Now you may roll your eyes, but they're armed with long-range missiles. For us, their threats don't seem like lies. And we're just 70 years removed from being crucified, and now Poland has the gall to deny they even complied. This stuff is really starting to make us feel petrified. Try to develop some empathy. Apply the same critical lens to everyone, and instead of mob mentality, practice consistency. Recognize that ethnic conflict is messy, and by focusing on one, you miss the other 30. Instead, it's imperative to better empathize with our narrative, because if you don't, we're just going to keep seeing your position as an almost biological animosity, applying irrationally high standards to only one nation that still lives through existential atrocity. It's been consistent over the generations. With every gross, new, anti-Semitic iteration, hatred for us is 3,000 years strong. But please, try and prove me wrong. Tell me it's just paranoia. Assure me that it's just an unjustified fear of the Goya, but if you do, please also agree that it's odd you'll only see stories on Al Jazeera TV about 8 million people in a world where billions aren't free. Look at us like you look at all those other nations to which you have no connection, but don't treat us with any more or less affection. And don't say that Israel should stop being a Jewish state, or it's only the Jewish lobby that's making us great, because when we hear these tropes, we contract and we choke, and it validates our perception that this loathing never faltered, and if we ever made peace, you'd all just hate us harder. But now we're tired of being the martyr, because of you, our nationalists are ascending to power. It's kind of like when Shylock, that merchant of Venice, once said, if you prick us, we bleed, and if you wrong us, we revenge, and our revenge has always been to survive and thrive. But inside of you, we still see anti-Semitism alive, and until you could at least right this wrong, and until we feel like we belong, I'm sorry to tell you, peace is never going to come along.
They say, no, they're not really talking about rights. They're talking about they want to destroy Israel. And in fact, I think they're right. I think that's true.